This is Secret America.
Welcome, everybody. I am Jack Danger, along with Jay Gatling. Jay, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, Jack. How are you?
It's wonderful to be here. I mean, this could be the end of DEI as we know it. We are talking about the lost generation, the Jacob Savage article that is sweeping the nation. It's one of the most consequential articles in U.S. history. It actually talks about and gives statistics on what has happened, with Harvard and Yale and, the Washington Post and all these other places that are basically discriminating against white males. Their bias is so strong. They want to be unbiased so badly that they don't recognize how biased they are. It's like they want to be here. So to get here, they go way over here. It's It's like the mind virus. It doesn't make any sense to me. But the article was incredible. I am an under 40 millennial. I'm an under 40 white male. So that's who this article was about. And I know the struggles. I mean, you cannot get a job as an under 40 white male, not a good job. I mean, you still can't. DEI is still rampant everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong. It's been cut back thanks to like the executive order and things like that. But this article, I think, will help tear down the, the stigma of it all, of white males. It's going to tear down because there was this stigma that made it to where, oh no, we can't hire a white male. We got to have black. We got to have, Hispanic. We got to have this or that. We got to have female. But this article can single-handedly break that stigma. It's like breaking the stigma of drugs or this or that or whatever it is. So that way people can feel comfortable hiring white males now. In fact, if they don't, they could look bad now.
Listen, everybody watching the show. When this article hit, Jack blew up my phone. And Jack was excited about this. He was, I was like, wow, Jack was fired up. I think he's been waiting to do this show. I mean, chomping at the bit for days now since this article dropped. So I know he's ready to go because he takes this one personally, and I understand why. But believe it or not, Jack, I can relate to this too. Not as much as you can. I'm a little bit older than you, a little bit, just a little bit, just a little. And but my occupation in the job I was in for the majority of my career, I faced a lot of this too.
Really?
And yeah, and
in NYPD?
Not NYPD, with the Port Authority Police, which is where I did the majority of my career.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I ended up getting promoted, Jack, but I kind of slipped through the cracks to get promoted. Not because I wasn't qualified, because I was qualified, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I was qualified, and I slipped through the cracks as a quote-unquote Caucasian male to get promoted. So I do have an understanding of this, not as much as somebody in your generation who was coming up at the time, to try and get jobs, to start their career. So I know that this is, something that's close to you and something you're really excited about. So go at it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, how ridiculous is it, though, that, they so badly want to not judge people by the color of their skin that they are literally judging people by the color of their skin. It is so strange, man. I mean, it's like being self-righteous to the nth degree. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna be so unracist that I'm racist. It's it doesn't compute. But that's why these older white men still run all the institutions. They protected themselves. The boomers were not kicked out. They didn't go in there and sweep these people out of there. No, the boomers instead protected themselves and then was like, okay, we're going to hire such and such. And if you can tell, a lot of these industries took quality hits. You know what I mean? Because they weren't looking for the best person. It says in Jacob Savage's article, they weren't looking for the best person. They were looking for the best color at the right time. The right color at the right time. That's what they were looking for. And that's why, if you've seen TV lately, since 2014, huge quality hit. The shows suck. Okay? TV writers, terrible. College professors, woke morons. And it's all because they chose color over merit. And believe it or not, there's still a lot of places doing this. In fact, I have something right here. Let me see if I can find this, because this right here was interesting to me. I'm thinking, wait a minute. He he actually, he put out an executive order. Trump put out an executive order, kind of stopping this stuff. And obviously, it's not enforceable by law, which is ridiculous. What the hell's the point of it if it's not enforceable by law? But anyways, I saw something where someone was actually, I don't remember what it is. I'm trying to find it. But anyway, someone was actually ramping up their DEI. Here we go. Illinois State Police forced to comply with mandatory LGBTQ and DEI training or risk getting fired. There was internal training material provided to the libs of TikTok that shows hyper woke LGBTQ and DEI propaganda forced on police officers. The training includes using made-up pronouns, misgendering lessons, allowing men and women's bathrooms, promoting LGBT activism at work, promotion of race-based privilege, anti-capitalist narratives, compulsion to disrupt oppression, and much more. This is what your tax dollars are funding. And this is stuff that should not be. I mean, this is even the chairman of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission came out and said, if you have been the victim of any of this shit, to contact the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, you may be entitled to money for severe civil rights violations. So anybody that's been, that's dealt with this, contact the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. They will help you. Jacob Savage, anybody that read his article has been affected by it, I would call them. You can get some serious cash for this because this is discrimination at the highest level.
It's so, there's a lot here. And I'll start with this. Content of character. Martin Luther King Jr., content of character thrown out the window completely. Doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have what you said. Interesting. And I'm not a boomer, not that old, Gen Xer, right? But what you said, and I always bring this up when I hear politicians, especially it's usually Democrats, right? Joe Biden or anybody, hold on, why don't you get out of the way? If you are such a big proponent of this, get out of the way and let somebody of the persuasion that you're talking about take your spot. But
that's the thing. They won't give up their spot. No. It's not going to happen.
No, they will never give up their spot. They want you to not get the spot. You're the one. All right. So, and now what we have are a bunch of box checkers, right?
Exactly. That's all we have is a quota. And quite frankly, their quality is absolutely terrible. Now, I'm not saying that some of these people didn't deserve the job. I'm saying probably 90% didn't deserve. There were probably better candidates than 90% of the people that were hired, if you want the truth.
And Jack, it's actually not fair to people who aren't quote unquote white who get a job, because then they're looked at sideways because, oh, you just got this job because of DEI.
Hey,
they might not have.
The victim culture that we perpetrate right now, that we perpetuate, actually gives them a good feeling when they get a job based on their color. It's weird. It's like civil rights has been turned upside down. At first, they didn't want to be judged by the color of their skin. Now, you judge me by the color of my skin. You give me the promotion by the color of my skin, and I'm going to be happy because this is my version of reparations. It is mind-blowing.
It's not good for society. It's not good for anybody. Well, let's take an example.
Have you seen the pilots lately? Oh, my God.
Somebody said that's why Boeing is having so many issues, Deborah, right? But
yeah, I'm afraid to fly.
Here's also the thing. You just mentioned the police. Okay, I'm pretty familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want police officers who are there because they check off a box. You want police officers there because they can do the job, because they're qualified. They can handle it. Now, we have an example right now. What have we been watching, Jack, for the past 5-6 days up at Brown University? Now,
oh my God, we're gonna talk about that. In fact,
we could lead into it with this, but I'm not saying I don't want to finish this subject yet, but it ties in. It ties in.
It all ties in. I mean, everything is connected in one way or another. Whether whether it's cause and effect, whether it's directly connected, whether it's part of a bigger tentacle, that leads to something. Everything is connected in one way or another, because all of these things are purposefully done. Society doesn't just suddenly change itself. Okay, that does not happen. Okay, it is perpetuated by the media, and like I said, last week, by the global cabal. They are the ones that can create the crises. They're the ones that create the problems. They're the ones that solve the problems, but they're also the ones that can create the trends, that can create the pretty much anything that you see out there. Because when you run the mainstream media, you run half of America. You run a lot of other countries in the world. And that's what's going on. I mean, they can actually, they could actually get these people to do whatever the hell they want them to do. They've got them, get this, they've actually got them saying that it's terrible that I think the House just passed a law today. The House just passed a law today that bans surgeries, transgender surgeries for minors. You've actually got people out there saying, I am so pissed off that I can't chop my kid's dick off. That's the thought process, because the global cabal told the media what to do, and the media actually gets in these people's minds. I mean, they actually believe what they hear. And remember, you weren't here when I said this, but I actually had a video before in a previous episode where there was a person whose child was, I want to say it was 14 months old. And she said that child told her that she was a girl, even though the child was a boy. She's like, my child told me she was a girl. She was protesting on the Supreme Court steps for transgender surgeries for minors. She wanted to get her 14-month-old child's dick chopped off.
That parent needs to be thrown in jail. And the child.
That's the thing. It's not considered child abuse. It's considered what the hell is it? It's considered the opposite of child abuse. It's child care or whatever the hell you want to call it.
It's part of the upside down world, Jack. It's part of the upside down world that we've been dealing with on steroids since 2009. And I always keep saying it. What happened in 2009? Barack Obama got elected. And since then, the upside down world has just been getting, from the show Stranger Things, we've been living in an upside down world where good is bad, bad is good, the cop's the perp's the good guy. It's all the time. So that's just another part of it where, wait a minute, I'm the one children. Well, you're against. No, I'm the one trying to protect children by. So
I think we just lost Jay there for a second. His picture's frozen.
Now? I got you.
Yeah,
back.
yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm the one trying to protect children to not let you, physically alter them for the rest of their life. You're the one who's against children, but somehow, Jack, like you just said, they've convinced enough people to see it the other way. We're the bad guy because we want to stop that from happening. Now I'll give Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I'm not a fan of, credit. She got this bill through. She's the one who worked on this bill. She's the one who got it done. And when somebody does something good, I don't care what side of the aisle they're on, or if I agree with them wholeheartedly on everything or not. This is a good job. And
I say the same thing about John Fetterman. I mean, he does great. I love some of the stuff he does.
Yeah, again, but I just keep it in perspective. He's not MAGA. He's not America First. He's still a Democrat, and he's going to vote against me 90% of the time, probably. But when he says something I agree with, I'll say, yeah, that's good. The only problem is he's the only one that says anything that we agree with on the Democrat side at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole thing I'm saying with this is, this bill's going through, and we still had 4 Republicans, Jack, and one of them, Mike Lawler from New York, just awful, voted against it. How are you a Republican and vote against this bill? I need to hear an explanation, but that's another story.
Well, he's in New York. I mean, he kind of has to for his constituents. I mean, New York is absolutely the most insane state. California is insanely run, but New York has the most insane people. I mean, it is out of this freaking world, man.
Not where I am, but yes, parts of New York. Absolutely. When you look at the map of New York, you look at the presidential, election, look at that map. It's mostly red, but it's run by a metropolis of millions of people who are going to, carry the vote. And that's the problem. It is what it is, but we do our best.
Oh, absolutely. So, real quick, we were talking about the Brown University situation, and I just have to say, this is incredible. I mean, okay, so there's this guy, his name is, Mustafa Carbush. I don't know how you say it, but it's Mustafa Carbush. He's a free Palestine activist. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. I want you to see his picture, because they said they were not aware that all of his websites, on all the mentions of him on the Brown University website, were scrubbed. And I'm thinking, the president came out and said they weren't aware of this. That doesn't make any sense to me. How could you, as president, not be aware of this? So check this out, okay? This is him right here. I particularly want you to look at the size of him, okay? Look at his size right here. Now, this says page not found, but you can see all the pages right here. I don't know if I can zoom in. It won't let me zoom in, yeah. Well, that sucks. But anyways, you can see right here all the pages that there were on Brown University's website of him, but they all say page not found now. He deleted his X account. I mean, everything is completely gone from him, scrubbed. He has no mentions of anything now, but yet the Brown University, they don't know nothing about it. I mean, there's 12,000 cameras at Brown University, but not a single one of them caught this person in the act. Not in the act. I want you to see this now. You looked at the size of the man, okay?
Yep.
Now, this is the person that they say actually did the act right here. You see that person right here? Look at the size of that person. What does that look like to you?
Similar build.
Very similar build. Not only a very similar build, but the mindset. The mindset. Free Palestine activist. Most likely Islamic. The mindset is what you got to think about. Because yes, the build, look at the height. You can tell the height, the build, the skin tone. Even from that picture, you can tell the skin tone. And I will tell you that, look at that. There's another picture. And the pictures are terrible. Brown University absolutely sucks.
Listen,
but,
I'm glad he's wearing a mask, Jack.
Yeah, oh yeah, at least he won't get us sick with COVID, right?
Right.
But look at him. I mean, that if that's not him, then I don't know who the hell it is. But I'm going to tell you right now, they said, oh, no, that guy's not a suspect. It's not him. But we scrubbed his website and everything anyway, just in case. They don't know who it is, but it's certainly not him. No. It can't be.
Jack, you could fill a museum with the amount of things that this president of this university doesn't know, first of all. Second of all, now, did you hear today, they're linking this MIT shooting of this professor, this nuclear fusion professor, to this Brown shooting.
Really?
So, yep, they're linking these two. And now that
they haven't caught him, so.
No, they have an arrest warrant. They think they know who he is now. And they might have gotten some DNA off of some live, unspent live rounds that they found that might have been touched by this person. And I think they know who it is. And from what I heard, which is a possibility, which is maybe why we're actually getting somewhere now, is that once it was linked to MIT, the Boston Police Department took this over, or took the lead, I'm trying to find this person, which is why we might actually be making some progress now. Well, Jack, this just came out that Israel is involved in trying to find out about this guy because of this MIT connection when it comes to this nuclear fusion stuff that he was doing. And today, President Trump's media company just merged with one of these companies involved in fusion. Are all these things tied together? Are all these things connected somehow? Hey, we need to find out. I hope that they were supposed to have a press conference today, Jack. They scrubbed it because I think they're close. Let's see what happens.
It's very possible, but I can tell you that the shooter, whether it's this person or whether it's somebody else, is absolutely stupid for doing a shooting of a professor at MIT, because now all they got to do is run names of people who are connected to Brown and MIT. I mean, he's got to have some connection to both or he wouldn't be shooting there. You don't just go shoot up some random school.
Well, there's some Iranian. That's the Israel thing is also, I forgot to say, is there's some Iran connection here too. So that's why I think Israel's involved also. So who knows what's going on?
I think it has a lot to do with the Free Palestine movement as well. That's why I think this guy, now I can't tell you that it's this person. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you they scrubbed all of his shit. They scrubbed everything about him. And he's got the same height, same build, same skin tone. I mean, he's a Free Palestine activist, which we know are out of their freaking minds. They're usually Islamic or they're paid protesters, one or the other. He's obviously not a paid protester. But I mean, you take it for what you want. I mean, I see what I see, but everybody else can see, whatever they want.
Yeah, I just lost you for a little bit, Jack. I'm having internet problems today, even though I show full bars, but somehow I don't know. Maybe we're talking about.
It's weird. Yeah, you froze there for a second too. I could see your picture. It's funny because when you freeze, you're making a funny face at the time. They never freeze people in a good look. You know what I mean?
Never. It's like taking a picture and your eyes are closed. But, we'll find out. Maybe he's not the only one involved. The one that they scrubbed everything, he could be involved as something else. But this is getting deep. Brown has been awful in this. Even if they want to hide information, go to the standard line. It's an active investigation. Don't come out and act like you don't know what you're talking about, because this is awful. That police chief, Jack, when they asked him about DNA evidence yesterday, I'm wondering if he knew what DNA evidence was. They're talking about, do we know who was in the classroom yet? This was a study hall. We didn't take a roll call. We didn't have anybody on the sheet. Well, I bet that's going to change, number one, in the future. I hope it does. Second of all, you've been days now. And they say, Jack, we've sent emails. We've sent emails out to the students to see if they were there. And then the DA in Rhode Island says, we like the shooter, if he can, to give us something along the lines, Jack, the way he said it was like, maybe the shooter can help us find the shooter. Jack, my mind's blown.
I will tell you. Barney says that on Fox News they're saying they found the suspect's abandoned car. If that's true, then they have to know who he is.
They know
you don't find his car and not know who he is. It's just not possible. But I will say that did you know there's also a person of interest for the person of interest?
Jack,
they actually released photos of somebody that they say this person can help us identify the person of interest. So this is a person of interest that can help with the person of interest. That's what they said. And there's photos of this person. And we have these photos as well. And it's very strange. The whole situation is mighty strange. But I want you to see this. This is whoa, what the hell just happened here?
I'm telling you, they don't like us talking about this, Jack.
I know, right? That was weird. Anyways, check this out. This is the person of this is not the person of interest. This is the shooting suspect. But there was a person. I think I have the photos of it. It's a person that they said, oh, this person can help us. So they want you to identify this person so he can identify the person of shooting. So they're not even looking for the person. They were looking for a person for a person. It's mind blowing how stupid the Brown University police are. And I guess I don't have the photos of that person of the person for the person of interest, which was, one of the dumbest things I have ever seen in my life.
I tell you, that sounds like a riddle, Jack. It sounds like a riddle. And I've always said it's good to be an interesting person, not good to be a person of interest.
No, never. Right. But one thing that we do know is, actually we don't know. Is the FBI involved in this investigation at all yet? Do we know that? Because now that has it crossed state lines? Is MIT and Brown, are they both in Massachusetts?
Oh, well, Providence, Rhode Island. So Massachusetts, no, 2 different states.
Okay, so then the feds could get involved if they wanted to.
Well, I would hope that the FBI was at least helping, because first of all, to me, wouldn't this kind of fall into possible terror attack? Number one.
Oh no, that's definitely what it is. And the FBI, the Homeland Security, all of them boys. Some of the most useless organizations in the world, Homeland Security. But they can do something, I guess.
Well, and here's another thing: not the chief of police, not the guy who speaks Spanish. It was the black guy. He was actually fired from his last job because he could never provide the proper credentials. And where does he end up? Brown. At Brown University. And
did you see their hand signaler? Their why can't I now? Why is my mind going?
Interpreter.
Thank you, my God.
Caption interpreter.
Yeah, for people that that can't
hearing impaired.
Yeah, exactly. She was doing the sign language. Did you see her? She looked absolutely insane. It looked like she didn't know what she was doing. It was insane. I wish I had the video of that too. There's so many things that are absolutely wrong with this. It's almost like a caricature of a college. It's a caricature of an investigation. It's not a real thing. But I wanted to say that to highlight Dan Bongino leaving the FBI. And the reason I want to do that is because he'll tell you, and this is speculation, but it's highly probable speculation because I have messages, tweets from him from before that can tell you exactly, what his thought process is. He'll say it's because, I didn't get to spend enough time with my wife, with my children, but he knew that going in. That going in. He's not even been a year. Let's be real. It's not even been a year. So let me tell you the real reason he left. He was shocked by what he saw. He could never unlearn what he saw. He knows that he can't do anything. There is so much corruption. The deep state is so strong. The global cabal either has blackmail, bribe, or threats. You get in there, you're gung-ho to do whatever you want. You get in there, you can't do it. One way or another, whether it's blackmail, whether it's threats, they can get to your kids. They can get to your family. I've said this before. If they wanted to, they could come to your house while you're not there, rearrange shit just to show you that they can get to your house, that they can get to you anytime they want. Think about it. These people, you don't know who they are. The global cabal can hire whoever they want. They probably have people like that. Somebody that pulls up next to you at the street light, the red light. That person could shoot you right in the head. You don't know. So if they put these threats out there, you're gonna be on you're gonna mind your P's and Q's. You're not gonna do anything to upset them. So that's why nothing is getting done. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's the case. Let me show you this right here. All right. This is the tweet he put out a little while back. It says, during my tenure here as deputy director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It is a priority for us. But what I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I have learned.
I remember
and that right there is why I believe he actually left.
I remember that. And listen, I hope he can tell us something about it once he comes back, and I'm sure he's going to go back to his podcast.
Know he can't. You know he can't. They can't.
Maybe
there's no way they would allow them to talk about something like that.
Can he tiptoe around it somehow, Jack? Can he code it? Is there something?
Maybe he can blink Morse code like guy at Vietnam War blinking Morse code in the video.
I don't know. And here's the other thing, what I think happened with Dan Bongino too. And I think Dan's a good guy. I don't know Dan personally. I've never spoken to Dan Bongino, but here's what I was so excited about when he got that job is that he was a cop. He was a cop in New York City, NYPD. He was worked in the 7-5 precinct, which is a rough and tough area. He wasn't there long, but he was there. And he has that cop mentality. I think what happened also, Jack, is he went there with this cop mentality. And they don't want you to be a cop. They want you to be a politician. Okay? You can't go in there with a cop mentality and say, we're going to investigate, we're going to crack the case. You can't crack a case that they don't want cracked. And here's what you just said. They don't want it cracked, because if it cracks, a lot of people are going to have a very bad day.
That's why you never see the Epstein files, why you don't see any of the documents. And let me tell you,
I'm glad you brought that up. Wait, real quick, Jack. I'm glad you brought up Epstein. Do you remember the interview with Maria Bartiromo with him and Cash?
And part of it.
Okay. They sat there and Dan said, I've looked at the evidence, and yes, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I swear when he made that statement,
I remember that.
You could tell he was saying that and he didn't believe it.
Nope. You could tell you could tell he was forced to say such a thing.
Exactly.
Kash Patel, before he got in the FBI, he said, if I became FBI director, I'm just paraphrasing, I would tear it down on day one and put up a deep state museum. Those were his exact words. He got in there and he didn't do a damn thing real. Not anything that we wanted. But let me tell you right now, I'm going to give you the other side of the coin. For anybody that doesn't know this, Dan Bongino was Secret Service for Barack Obama. Barack Obama's personal Secret Service guard. Just for anybody that doesn't know that. Just food for thought.
He knows them all, Jack. He knows. I remember.
Well, I'm not talking about knowing. I'm talking about he knows Barack Obama. I'm not talking about he knows him. I mean, he knows him.
Oh, I get it.
He knows. He knows him.
I get it. And when 100%. And when I remember hearing him on the radio years ago, before President Trump first got elected, and he was talking about Hillary Clinton, and he said she's a bad person. She's not a good person. And I've heard other people, Buzz Patterson, who's on X and a military hero in our country, he carried the nuclear football for Bill Clinton. And he talks all the time, and he'll say the same thing. Hillary Clinton, not a good person. Bill Clinton,
everybody knows
guy.
that.
Bad, but evil, Jack, not a bit evil. And Dan Bongino would say the same thing about those people. So you're right. When you say he knows them, he knows them.
Well, I wonder if he knows when you're Secret Service, you're with them. You might see things that you're not supposed to, or that you can't talk about. I'm talking about things that would boggle the mind. But I will tell you that Hillary Clinton, everybody knows she's an absolute one of the worst human beings on earth. I personally subscribe to the theory that she killed JFK Jr. This woman that might have been her first body for all I know. Because this woman, get this. Okay, so JFK is the front runner for senator in the late 90s. Front runner for New York senator. Yep. Oh, you're down in a plane crash. Who becomes senator?
Never found him, Jack.
Nope. And who becomes senator right after that? Hillary Clinton steps in as senator.
Yeah, carpetbagged it. She carpetbagged it. Listen, I'm in New York. I remember she ran against somebody named Rick Lazio. How do I remember that name? Because I guarantee you, most people don't remember who Hillary Clinton ran against. His name was Rick Lazio, and she absolutely buried him. And I said, and it didn't matter, Jack. She was a Democrat. She was a Clinton. She put her name on that ballot. She was going to win. She couldn't do it against the Kennedy. She wouldn't be able to do it. She wouldn't be able to push Kennedy out of the way unless,
Exactly. You know what? And that's what surprises me, that she hasn't had Donald Trump killed yet. There are many ways to kill somebody without killing them. And with him winning that election, I'm surprised that didn't, I'm surprised they didn't fire her up, man.
Listen,
she's got many suicides on her agenda. The Vince Foster, Seth Rich. You got all these people that she's killed. I mean, and if you think this woman is not, she doesn't actually kill them herself, but can you call her a serial killer? If you don't think she's a serial killer, you're out of your mind.
Seth Rich, Jack, wasn't that another one that Dan talked about a lot?
Fake robbery. Yeah.
Didn't they talk about that a lot too? And that's probably another one where Dan might be horrified of the stuff he saw, the Seth Rich one, because that whole thing made absolutely zero sense as well. No. And listen, not everything that happens is a conspiracy. So listen, sometimes things just happen and it is what it is. But sometimes. But a lot of these things, when they happen now, I said last night, Jack, I said, can we just have a boring run-of-the-mill investigation for once, please? Why is it every time now there's some nonsense? Is it because everybody's got eyes on? Is it because we got a bunch of internet sleuths now that are looking, trying to find stuff themselves? Is that why?
Nate brings up an excellent point. Seth Rich was the source, I believe, of the Hillary Clinton investigation, and that's why he was actually killed in a robbery. Okay. Yeah. Because WikiLeaks outed him as the source, I believe. It might have been, I don't know if it was before or after his death, but I know that Hillary Clinton found out about it, and that's why he's dead. Now, this is all alleged for Hillary Clinton out there. It's all alleged, but I'm just telling you my personal viewpoint, because let's just say, okay, sometimes there are not conspiracies. It's true. But conspiracies do happen, and my favorite saying, and I actually made this up. I'm very proud of myself. But too many coincidences equal a conspiracy. Okay, if there's this coincidence, that's a conspiracy. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the Seth Rich, weren't there cameras not working that night either? I mean, it's
shades of Jeffrey Epstein, man. Shades of Jeffrey Epstein.
What we have going on at Brown, why were all these cameras off? And did you see that reporter yesterday? He had an accent, but he was asking, he said, you didn't have those on because you were told, I think, by some civil rights group. He says there are detectives that are really upset that they can't get camera footage. And is it because you're a sanctuary city? Why do you have these cameras off? What do you do? Now they're saying we didn't want to upset the students with the cameras. Jack, what's going on? This is a university that's a fortune. It has an $8 billion endowment. If I'm sending my kids to Brown University, it's called I used to send my kids to Brown University, because forget about the shooting. The shooting's horrible enough. I don't like the way they handle this. I don't trust them, Jack. I don't trust them with the safety and well-being of my child at this point. Absolutely.
No. Not only do you not trust them, but something stinks really bad here. I mean, how would he do the shooting in the only spot in the building without cameras? And how did he get away? Who in the hell gets away from a mass shooting? You either get caught or you kill yourself. How the hell do you get away?
Well, now we're hearing, Jack, that maybe the police didn't rush in the way. Remember, I talked about this last week. Not last week.
I told you that you said they're trained like that, and I told you they still don't do it.
Well, this has got to stop. Well, here we go again. Let's go back to the beginning of the program. What are those 3 letters? DEI. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to do the job, if you're not qualified to do that job, which sometimes requires you to put yourself in real dangerous situations, do something else. If you can't hack it, do something else. We're not playing games here. People's lives are at risk. You raise your right hand to protect and serve, and sometimes you're going to have to put yourself in a dangerous situation when it comes to that job. If you don't want to do that, that's not a problem. I'm not degrading anybody or demeaning them if they don't, but don't take the job. It's not TV. This isn't make believe. Real stuff happens. Real stuff where you're going to have to stand up and you're going to, man up. If you can't, don't do it.
And the most egregious examples are Columbine and Uvalde. I mean, these cops were feet away listening to these kids being killed, shot after shot after shot. And they just, whatever, I saw someone looking on their damn phone in Uvalde. They were just checking their texts. And I'm thinking, you're hearing these kids scream. You're hearing them be shot and killed. And you're standing outside the door, just probably checking X. Like, what the hell is happening here?
No, Uvalde is inexcusable what happened there. Here's what I'll say about Columbine, Jack. Back then,
they didn't train him back then.
They didn't train him to do it back then. Back then,
but you're a cop. I mean, who cares if you should know? That should be an instinct.
The training was you wait until the specialized unit gets there.
That is mind-boggling, though. How could that ever be the training?
That's the way it was, because it just was. And after Columbine, it all changed. What happened to Uvalde, again, that was just beyond.
That was sickening, man. Those cops, they are I mean, oh my God. I couldn't say, no. That was sickening. They were, oh boy. All right.
Horrible.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even want to think. That was some of the worst police work I have ever seen in my life. I mean, everyone there should have been charged with aiding and abetting that guy.
Or just fired for cowardice, but whatever.
Yeah, it was, I mean, my God, that was terrible. It was terrible. Okay. So, you know about the New York, the New Year's Eve bombing plot, right? Where these people, there was a bunch of people that were doing a New Year's Eve bombing plot, and they were caught. Apparently, one of these persons, it was 4 at first, but now a 5th person has been arrested in this New Year's Eve bombing plot. It is a Trantifa Marine vet out to, quote, recreate Waco on ice. I mean, this is actually Trantifa. It's a trans Antifa person. And I mean, he looks exactly as you would expect. I'm going to put up the picture right here. I mean, picture a trans Antifa person in your head right now. He looks exactly as you would expect. This is him right here. Him or her, whatever the hell the person started out as. Trantifa person right there. And it says, I'm on my way to NOLA. I'll be there in about 2 hours. And it says, just in case, video with guns and clips and all this other BS. So, I mean, it's, this bombing plot goes pretty far down there as well. So there's just so much going on in America right now that just, I mean, this is why I said, even with Donald Trump in office, can he help save things? Yeah, he can do a lot for us. But let me tell you at the same time, these 3-letter organizations, all of them are so severely corrupted by the global cabal. And let me tell you all right now, all of this goes back to the global cabal. The FBI does not just randomly do, psyops. They don't do false flags or hoaxes. This is something they are told to do by the people that are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And I talked about this last time. These are people that you do not know. It is not the Larry Fink, the CEO of Blackstone. It is not, Bill Gates. As much as you'd like to believe it is not Bill Gates, okay? It is not, Schwab. I can't remember his first name, but it is not Schwab, okay?
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, it is not Klaus Schwab. It is not the WEF. The people that actually run the world, the global cabal, you will not know who they are, okay? These people are brilliant. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. This has been passed down from generation. This didn't just happen overnight. Okay, this has probably been happening since at least, I would say, the late 1700s at the earliest. This is just something that's been going on forever.
Most of these things don't happen overnight. You could put it narrow it into the United States and what we're watching in our own country now when it comes to the Democrat Party. That didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 2016 when AOC got elected. No, this has been going on for 120 plus years now to get to the point where AOC could get elected, and AOC has the power she has to basically run the agenda of the Democrat Party. This stuff takes a long time, and they have all the time in the world, just like people who plan terrorist attacks. They have all the time in the world to plan it out and strike just at the right time. 9/11 didn't happen overnight. None of it does. This stuff, like said Jack, it happens over periods of time, and it happens under our noses. And, maybe that's starting to change a little bit because of the access we all have to so many things now, but it still is. It still happens under our noses. Every terror plot's not foiled. And I think you've said it. It's kind of like the ones that are foiled is because they want them to be foiled, right? The ones that aren't, I mean, sometimes you think, well, how'd you miss that one? How come it was on, quote unquote, the radar? Well, wait a minute, it's on the radar. How the hell is this person on your radar, and how do they carry this out then? All these school shooters, they're on the radar. Well, on the radar, do something about it. They shouldn't just be on the radar. They should be behind bars, or they should be under surveillance, not on the radar.
I mean, you're absolutely right. But for the people that think that it's not possible for there to be a global cabal, people that are powerful enough, rich and powerful enough to control world events or to force world events, let me tell you right now, what you don't realize is there is other cabals that are not global, but that that force wars and stuff, the military industrial complex, people like the companies like Halliburton, Blackwater, these things start wars. They kill heads of state, of countries. They change history. And these aren't even global cabal. The global cabal does exist, as much as you may not want to believe it. People that think, oh, you must be crazy, must be tinfoil hat things. Well, let me tell you, most of the things that you see are intentional. They are not by accident. They are not coincidence. They are not just some random event. It may look random to you, but there is always a bigger reason behind it. You don't think, let me tell you straight up. Edward Snowden actually put this out there. He revealed this a decade or more ago. The NSA listens and has every single person in the United States communications. Every single person. Okay, they actually they have this program that actually scans all the texts and all the phone calls and everything that they get that's in text, for keywords. They know what's going on. And if you think these things just happen by accident, you're out of your mind. If the NSA knows what's going on, the global cabal knows what's going on. None of this shit is by accident. It doesn't just happen.
Well, somebody needs to prove to me that it doesn't exist. I'm going to play that game. Prove to me that it doesn't exist. I always got to prove the negative, right? Prove to me that it doesn't exist. Prove to me that this stuff isn't true. Truth, a lot of times, is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Again, with all the stuff we see happening and how we have this access now in real time to these things happening.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, again, prove to me that there isn't something else out there. There aren't other entities out there that are behind a lot of this stuff. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist type of person. I like to deal in real. I'm a realist, and I like to deal in fact. But we're all allowed to speculate. And when we see stuff like this, hey, I'm not just going to sit here and I'm not the type of person, neither are you, who's going to sit here and just go, la-di-da and go along with my life. And just be like, oh, okay, I'm okay. No. I kind of want to know what the hell's going on. I want to look into it. I want to try to examine it. I want to try to get an answer. That's what we're doing.
No, you're absolutely. Let me put it this way for everybody out there, okay? If the NSA can scan everybody's communications for keywords, okay, they know what the hell's going on with everybody if it's something serious, okay? If the NSA can do that, if the military industrial complex like Halliburton and then can start actual wars between the USA and Iraq or whatever it is, if these entities can do this, you're telling me that there can't be an entity out there that actually, not just the United States communications, but maybe communication. I mean, you know how many satellites are up in space right now? There's hundreds of satellites out there that we don't even know what the hell they do. Okay, they're launched all the time. And they believe it or not, you think the NSA only exists in the United States and scans the United States, their communications. That's true. But in other countries, they have similar things. Okay. And you're telling me that there's not a global cabal of let me put it this way. Okay. So I told you, that these entities like the NSA scan your communications for keywords. There's entities that can start wars between the United States and other countries, entities like Halliburton, Blackwater, whatever. So then, you put those together, okay? Look at all the things that are happening around the world right now. All around the world, all of a sudden, there is mass migration, and all these countries are not only allowing these people in, but doing it despite their countrymen's objections, doing it despite everybody telling them that's not what they want. They're doing it almost like they have to do it. Okay, almost like they have to do it regardless of their approval rating, regardless of what anybody else says, regardless of the rapes in UK, regardless of everything that's going on. They doing it like it must be done. All right, Islam. Yes, thank you, Raina. Islam is another part of this. They're doing all of this like it has to be done, and you're telling me there's not something out there that coordinates all this, that controls this? You must be out your mind.
Well, it goes back to your theory about your coincidences. Too many of them.
Exactly. Way too many. I mean, all these people in these different countries doing this at the exact same time, all of it happening in every country. Come on. 2 + 2 = 4. You can put it together. Put it together. It's that simple.
I say it all the time, 2 + 2 = 4. It's one of my favorite sayings because you know what? You can't refute it. It is what it is. And my other favorite saying, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Well, it makes no sense that this isn't all tied in, right? That, like you said, it isn't all like, you know, a master plan of some kind when it's happening in all of those countries at the same time. And like you just said, the people there, the you know, the native born, or even the people who went there legally a while ago, they don't want this. And they're doing it anyway, no matter what the approval rating is. Look at the Democrat Party, Jack. Their approval rating came out today, 18%. And I think
they're still pushing all these ideas forward like they have to, almost like they can't not do it.
Exactly.
Something is coordinating all of this. It doesn't just, they don't just, you know, randomly say, you know, oh, okay, the UK is going to do it. So, you know what? We're going to get Joe Biden and let's let the US do it. It doesn't just randomly happen that way, especially when it's happening to, you know, 75% of the countries in the world. I mean, let's be real, people.
And we have there's a couple of leaders throughout the world, but obviously we know who the most important one is whoever the president of the United States is, the most important leader in the world, the quote unquote, the leader of the free world, right? That one person is throwing a wrench once again for the second time into whatever they have planned or whatever they're trying to do. And that's
why they stole the 2020 election.
But that 100%. And you know what though, Jack? It's almost, that's why I feel like God, you know, made it that it would happen this way, because if President Trump would have won in 2020, he obviously would not be the president now. And when he would
also, all of those swamp creatures that he was in with 2016 would still be in there, still be supporting him, you know?
Exactly. And he would not have the mandate that he does now. So
or the knowledge.
It's kind of like it had to happen this way. I've always believed there was divine intervention when he won the first time. And then obviously after what happened in Butler, the whole, you know, believing in divine intervention when, you know, oh my God, how could it not be at this point? You know, he was supposed to be killed that day and he wasn't. And then the other one on the golf course, he was supposed to be killed that day and somehow he wasn't. And I'm not like this holy roller or anything like that, but I do believe in stuff like that. And I mean, I think that's what's going on, and that's why they hate him so much, Jack. He's thrown a wrench into so many things and delayed. He's delayed. They were right there. They were right there. They were at the end. They were at the goal line. I say it all the time, and I use the Andrew Wilkow reference of the football field. They were at the 1 yard line, and we made a goal line stand, and they are angry. They are pissed. So what happens? Listen, why do they keep pushing, like you just said, all of these policies that give them an 18% rating? Jack, why are the midterms even in question at this point with the Democrat Party? Why? How? Why? Is it because, go ahead, give me your answer. It's perplexing to me how it's even close with an 18% approval rating, which I think is probably 5 points high or even worse.
Oh no, it's definitely lower than that. But I will tell you that there's definitely, you know, a global cabal of some sort that is pushing these things. I mean, like I said, these things don't just happen, you know, they don't just randomly happen. All of a sudden, every country in the world wants mass migration, people that nobody wants multiculturalism. If you have multiculturalism, you don't have a culture. Okay?
Australia.
Yeah, you don't have a culture. And then you're letting all this Islam in, and Islam is not a religion. It's an ideology of destruction. It's an ideology of conquer, of death. And all these people are like, oh, bring them. We want them all. We want the Africans. We want the Somalians. And it doesn't compute because common sense would tell you that this is not what anybody wants. This is not good for your country. Yet all the countries are doing it at one time. There are a few that will not let the global cabal control them. And I got to give props to Russia. I got to give props to Italy, Japan, and the Trump's United States, Hungary.
Poland.
Poland is awesome. Are you kidding me? Poland is amazing with their, oh man, they are good. They are good. They are really good. The new prime minister of Japan, I love her. She has been amazing. Yeah, it's just, you know, there are a few countries out there that will not allow such a thing, but most of them are, they're either being forced or maybe they're going to get something out of it at the end. You know what I mean? Like they're saying, okay, because like I said, I mean, for anybody that doesn't think there's a global cabal out there that controls things, I mean, you're actually the one with the tinfoil hat at this point. I mean, all these things happening at the same time all around the world, it just doesn't compute. They just don't all randomly decide to do this shit all at the same time against their own country's objections and then continually do it.
Well, look, listen, I don't know if you heard today, I think the deputy prime minister of Australia, he was being interviewed, and obviously what happened at Bondi Beach. And the person who was interviewing said, you know, shouldn't we be telling these Islamic or Muslim clerics to tone down their rhetoric? Because, you know, it's all hate speech and this and that in Australia. You know how Australia was founded, everybody's a prison colony. It's a prison colony. Australia is not a free country, in my opinion. Okay. You don't allowed to carry a gun no matter what.
Nope.
And they don't seem to have a problem with having their rights to just taken away because something happens, like we do. Like we're like, no, you're not taking away my rights to carry a gun because somebody who's mentally ill shot up a school. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not. The gun isn't going out by itself and killing anyone. But in Australia, they have no problem with it apparently. But the reporter was actually pushing on him a little bit and saying, shouldn't you be telling these Muslim clerics to turn down their rhetoric if we're talking about hate speech? And we just had this happen on Bondi Beach. And he couldn't say yes. He couldn't bring himself to say, yeah, we need to handle that as well. He tried to tiptoe around it. So
and people
many
think
times.
that's by accident. That's the thing.
Suicidal empathy we talk about. Again, it's got to stop. It is destroying the planet, Jack.
But is it now? I will tell you that the commoners, it is suicidal empathy with them because of the media. But the people that have power in their countries, it is not suicidal empathy. They are being told what to do. You got to think, man. He cannot say anything bad about Islam. He's not allowed to. He will not. He can't cross that line.
How does he sleep at night? How?
Well, let me put it this way. The same way, you know, that some of these people might have the same thing that Dan Bongino has, where they force you to not do something. You can't do this or you'll be killed. I mean, you know how easy it is these days with the technology to kill somebody with a fake heart attack. You know, in the 50s, the CIA developed a heart attack gun where they shoot you with a little pinprick. You can look this up. Look it up right now. The CIA developed a heart attack gun. Shoot you with a little pinprick. It gives you a heart attack, and it looks like you had a heart attack. There's no testing for poisons out of your system, so it looks like you died from a heart attack. This was the 1950s. Imagine what they have in 2025 to make it look like you died from this or that, a stroke, a heart attack, whatever it is. So it's very easy for them to kill somebody without actually even killing them.
That was one of the things about Andrew Breitbart. That's
exactly what Nate just said. Same thing.
I didn't even see that. So there you go. With, you know, great minds think alike, Nate. But yeah, but yeah, that was the same thing with Andrew Breitbart. Like a lot of people were speculating when, you know, and we know how important Andrew Breitbart still is. You know, imagine what a loss that was. I mean, you could put that up there with Charlie Kirk. Andrew Breitbart was Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk in a way, with the way he, you know, we wouldn't have the alternative, quote unquote, alternative media we have today without Andrew Breitbart. Period.
No. And, you know, but that's why I say, you know, there's a reason that all these things happen. That's why people that don't think there's a global cabal, people that think it's impossible, I don't understand the thought process there. We know that every country, thanks to Edward Snowden, we know that every country has the ability to monitor everybody's communications. Okay. We know there are hundreds of satellites out there that we don't know what they do. Okay. We know that all these countries seem to be coordinated in doing the same mass migration, the same strict gun laws, all at the same time. We know there are entities out there like the United States military-industrial complex that can actually start wars regardless of if there's any reason. They just make up some bullshit reason of weapons of mass destruction, whatever it is. So you put all these things together, they equal the fact that there is something much bigger out there that can control world events. And it does this, and it's very easy to tell because all these countries are doing this shit at the same time. That's the last time I'm going to say that. I just wanted to emphasize for anybody out there that does not believe there's a global cabal. I don't understand the thought process. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, you know.
No, I like what Raina said. She says, doesn't it suck to know and understand all this? I miss the good old days.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we were just saying. Like, we're not the type of people that are just going to walk around and go about our day and our life and be like, oh, everything's fine. Sometimes I do wish I was like that. I really do.
Oh, man, the ignorance of the pre-Obama years, man, was bliss, man. I didn't even pay attention to politics before then. You know, I didn't even care because there was hardly any racism. I mean, he was the one that brought all that shit back. There was hardly any racism. There was hardly anything. It was just, you know, we didn't even pay attention, you know, whatever. But I mean, you know, after 9/11, things changed. But I would say around 2005, 2006, 2007, you know, I mean, things were not terrible in America. People were ignorant and it was bliss. And then, you know, Obama comes along. It woke some people up to what was going on. But when Trump came along, flipped on the light switch, all the cockroaches started scurrying away. And that's what woke, you know, a lot of people up, including myself, probably you as well. And
I was awake already. I was awake already. Oh, yeah. I've been there for a while, Jack, because of my job, just because of my career. I was awake because I saw things that would happen when it came to police, the left, the lunatic left, how they would come out and try to destroy us. And so I was a little more aware. And again, I'm older than you. So first time I could vote was 1992. So, you know, that's a while ago. And I was and my parents were always kind of involved and always kept me abreast. So I was always kind of aware, but you are right about Donald Trump. He changed everything. He brought people into politics who never even heard of the word politics. They were just people like who were just going about their life. And then every 4 years they'd hear about a presidential election and say, who's this? And I guess I'll vote for this guy. And now everybody, not everybody, but everybody, you know,
most, I would say 90% of adults probably
at least thinking about it on a daily, you know, at least thinking about it a little bit or trying to figure out something about what's going on, which isn't a bad thing. But at the same time, it's almost like information overload. Like, oh my God, give me a break for a minute, you know, but
that's another, I'm glad you brought that up. That is another thing that the global cabal does. Is the information overload. Okay. So what they do is they put out a bunch of things at one time, just like when Trump first got into office this last time, he put out tons of executive orders at one time. So nobody would think about one particular executive order. They would just go from one to one to one to one. They couldn't focus on it. They couldn't agree on which ones to focus on. The global cabal does the same thing with world events, with United States events, the shooting at Brown, then the shooting at Australia. Then, you know, there was a cop in America that was just lured by a false 911 call and stabbed by a Muslim. Okay. These things are all information overload to get you to where eventually you just don't care, for one, but also to the point where, you know, you can't focus on one particular event. Let me tell you though.
It's also desensitizing, Jack.
Oh,
it's desensitizing. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, I have a short 1 minute video I want to show everybody because Islam is the cancer of the world at the moment. Islam is the cancer of America. And I am going to show you that, there are 5 major religions in the world. You got Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, and of course, you know, Islam, you know. So let me tell you, there have been over 65,000 Islamic terror attacks since 9/11 across 70 countries. 65,000 Islam terror attacks since 9/11 across 70 countries. The world's 4 other religions, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, make up 2% of all religiously motivated terror attacks. Muslims are responsible for the other 98% of all religiously motivated terror attacks. And I want to show you this quick video real quick that can explain a little more. So go ahead and take a listen.
So I actually couldn't believe this stat was real until I looked it up myself. But there's been over 65,000 Islamist terror attacks since 9/11. 65,000 spread over 70 countries. And we're not supposed to draw any conclusions from this, right? They're just coincidences. 65,000 coincidences. And just in case you think I'm cherry-picking data, which would be a natural conclusion, you might ask, what about the other religions? So let's look at them. If you take the world's other 4 major religions, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, and Buddhism, those 4 religions combined account for roughly 2% of all religiously motivated terror attacks. Islam is responsible for the other 98%. And by the way, no one is more knowledgeable about this fact than the Muslim leaders themselves, who have been very successful imprisoning, eliminating, and sending away all of their true believers into the arms of white liberals in the West who are just so eager to bring them in.
That is absolutely correct. And that is part of what is destroying America at this moment. And there's a reason for it.
Well, Jack, I was told there'd be no math, but is that about 1,000 per country?
It's actually, yeah, it's right around 1,000. It's a little less than 1,000 per country. Yeah, if you want to average it out. Yep.
That is insane. That is insane. And I like what he said at the end. They pushed them into the arms of the leaders of Western countries. And that's what we're seeing happen.
And it's absolutely insane how this stuff happens. Real quick, though, before, you know, I mean, I know we're getting to the end of the show, but I've got one more thing I want to show you. And this is really going to boggle your mind. Okay, so you know how Australia and the UK are trying to take people's guns away? What they don't tell you, what they do not tell you is that the FBI, and this is in America, and as you can see, there's calls, you know, for the Brown University, MIT thing, there's calls for stricter gun control laws. But the FBI under Joe Biden hid the actual statistics of armed civilians that stopped criminal shooters in 2024, up to 2024. So I want you to hear this statistic. Armed citizens stopped 48% of all shooters last year, but the FBI lied about those numbers. They recorded 0%. That was Joe Biden's FBI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this quick video. It's about 1 minute and 39 seconds, and it will absolutely blow your mind. So this is something else that is extremely interesting, and it tells you the reason that they hide this fact is because they want to take your guns. They want you to believe that guns are the problem, when in fact, if you're armed, you're a lot safer. They save more people than they kill. So go ahead and take a listen to this.
This is freaking huge. Armed citizens stopped 48% of all criminal shooters last year, and the FBI was just caught massively lying about those numbers in their public reports. They recorded, get this, none of them. 0%. Now, you and I and everyone else have seen those local heroes on social media, but rarely on social media, but rarely.
I want to go back to this real quick.
Now,
take a look at this right here. Okay, this tells you how many they stopped over all years since 2014, 36%. The last 6 years, 40.5%. Last 3 years, 38%. Last year, 47.8%. Look what they actually recorded. 3.7, 3.7, 3.6. They do this to make you think that guns are the problem. So let's keep it going.
You and I and everyone else have seen those local heroes on social media, but rarely do we ever see these stories in mainstream media. Well, the script is about to flip because a new study by the Crime Prevention Research Center reveals that armed civilians stopped over 1/3 of active criminal shooters between 2014 and 2024, nearly 10 times higher than FBI's reported 3.7% average. And again, with even more Americans getting armed post-2020, just last year alone in 2024, civilians stopped half of all criminal shooters. Yet, as I just stated, the FBI recorded 0 of them. You might be asking, how is this possible? Well, while digging for the study, researchers found that police were often falsely credited instead of the armed civilian, which is a recording pattern that clearly increased over the last 10 years. Now, this begs the question, why would they work so hard to hide the significant benefits of an armed public?
Why indeed? Tell me why. I want to know why, Jay.
Well, Jack, because that way more people will want guns, number one. Number one, here's what it is. It's real simple. In a city like New York, no one, and everybody knows that no one in the city of New York walking down the street is armed. Nobody. Okay? The whole place is quote-unquote a gun-free zone. The entire
city. And they are
city.
ripe for picking. Easy targets.
Bingo. Okay. Chicago, same thing. Exact same thing. Everybody who's in Chicago, who's a predator, who has a firearm, knows that the person they're going to confront isn't armed.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get damn unlucky to confront somebody who's armed. Maybe it's an off-duty cop. Maybe it's one of the 10 people in the whole city of Chicago who has a carry permit because they own a business. Other than that, their odds are pretty good that the person they're going to confront and rob or beat or assault or grape isn't going to be armed. This whole narrative about how guns are the problem. No, guns solve the problem. Guns will solve the problem of crime. Now, at this point, Jack, I have to believe they don't want crimes. They don't want crime to go down because the more crime that is there, again, the arsonist firemen, who are the Democrats, will say, no, we'll fix the problem. We don't want you to be able to fix the problem with your own gun. We'll fix the problem with our guns. And
it's
their
communist ideology that will fix the problem. Communism can fix this problem.
Their guns are the government guns. And listen, I was a government gun, and I get it. But, and Jack, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I flipped on this issue a long time ago when I realized, and I said, because I grew up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, as a cop, I want somebody to be able to come and help me. I want a good guy with a gun to come and help me if I'm in trouble. And it did happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a shooting, but in an apartment. I was fighting for my life with somebody. And I had a good guy come and help me. A few good guys come and help me. But on the whole, I want good guys with guns, people that are, and I'm not just saying go get a gun and just say, oh, I have a gun. No, get a gun, train with the gun,
learn how to use it.
Yeah. Right. Learn how to use it, learn tactics, learn self-defense with the weapon, learn how to handle all that stuff. Do that. But they don't want you to. They don't want you to. They want you beholden to them. They want to be the gun. Don't let it happen. We will never, ever let that happen in the United States. We give that up, it's over.
You know what's funny is people want you to give up gun. They want to take the guns from the legal citizens, but they say, oh no, if you ban guns, even the criminals can't get them. In Mexico, nobody is allowed to have a gun, period, except the police. And there is more shooting deaths in Mexico than probably anywhere else in the entire world, if you want the truth. And they ban guns, absolutely. Nobody is allowed to have a gun. There's no license. There's no carry. There's no nothing. Only police are allowed to have guns in Mexico, yet there's more shooting deaths than you could possibly imagine. And let me tell you, if you're going to take guns away from law-abiding citizens and think the criminals can't get them, right now, you can 3D print ghost guns. You can 3D print ghost guns. If I buy a 3D printer, I can print a ghost gun that will shoot and kill people. So what do you think you're taking away from the criminals?
They're not. And how many guns are there's like more guns than there are people in the United States. And what cracks me up the most about the Democrats is that when they'll say, well, we'll confiscate them. Oh, well, who are you going to send to do that? Oh, you're going to send the police who you wanted to defund 5 minutes ago. All they do is contradict themselves. Every argument contradicts itself within the same argument, and both arguments that they present have to be accepted as truth. It's constant. Please, everybody listening, realize that when you're having conversations with somebody like this, they're going to present you with two arguments that are going to conflict each other, and they want you to accept both of them as truth in real time. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Just don't. Please understand how they try to present it to you, and you'll just basically win the argument because you're going to point that out. You just told me you've been saying forever you don't like the police, you hate ICE, you hate law enforcement, but you want the law enforcement that you hate to go to confiscate the guns from the people. Make it make sense, Jack.
The problem is you can't argue with madness. You can't use logic and reason with madness. Madness is its own thing. You can't reason. The best way I can say it is you can't reason with madness. Okay, you cannot reason with madness. So it doesn't matter if you use logic. It doesn't matter if you're articulate. It doesn't matter if you show them point blank evidence of how dumb their ideas are. It is pure and simple madness for a lot of them. But again, these ideas are told to them. This is not something that they just come up with. They are told, this is what we want you to do, and they're doing it.
Well, can I bring up real quick? I do want to bring up TikTok real quick, Jack, at the end, and that'll lead us into our social media. But what I wanted to bring up is what I'm going to ask people who are opposed to my views on the left. The first question I'm going to ask, and if they can't answer it within 2 seconds, and it's a yes or no, within 2 seconds, then I know it's probably not worth having the conversation, because I'm not dealing with somebody who's in rational thought. The question is this: can biological men get pregnant? That's the question. And if I don't get a no right away, if I get some kind of, well, I don't know, or what if, no. If I don't get a no right away, I know that I'm dealing with somebody who isn't really thinking clearly. And I could have a conversation with somebody who might hate President Trump, but if they answer that question no, I know I could probably find some common ground with them somewhere. Common sense finds common ground. Mm-hmm. So what I would say is ask that question to somebody off the bat. And I'm not trying to be offensive or anything like that to you. I just want to know your take on this simple question, and it's yes or no. Can biological men get pregnant? See what they do.
Now, what did that have to do with TikTok? I thought you were going to talk about TikTok.
Well, no, that was before TikTok. That was like going back to what we were just talking about. Now, maybe I'll put that on TikTok.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No, but okay, TikTok, the deal finally went through. Now, Oracle is apparently going to be controlling TikTok. What happened is that they're going to control, looks like the algorithm. And let me see what else we got here.
Tell them the connection.
Well, Larry Ellison
is basically best friends with Elon Musk.
And Larry Ellison is Oracle, right?
So he owns Oracle. Yep. So he owns TikTok.
So what the deal is going to be is that TikTok has now become a separate, TikTok US will become a separate entity, majority owned by American investors. ByteDance, which is the Chinese, will retain a minority stake under 20%. Oracle is going to receive a licensed copy of the algorithm code, review it, retrain it from the ground up, using only U.S. user data and continuously monitoring, operating it to prevent farm manipulation. So, Jack, I asked Grok, give me the pros and cons of.
We lost Jay there. While Jay tries to get his internet back, let me tell you guys to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, because we put out. Sorry, you were gone there for about 30 seconds. So I'm just telling everybody to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Secret America TV, because we put out excellent promo videos and everything, clips from the shows. They're really good. So just make sure to follow us there. Even if you don't like us, follow us anyway. It'll help.
I'm sorry about that, everybody. And I apologize for my internet difficulties. I only have about 5 extenders in my house.
Yeah, you only have 5 extenders and 5 full bars. So
yeah, exactly. Jack, if you lose me again, just speak up, because I don't want to be talking to myself. I want everybody to hear me.
That's funny, because you were talking. You came back in and you were like in the middle of a. Yeah, I like that. That was.
Oh
good.
My God, the modern technology, everybody. So I asked Grok the pros and cons of this algorithm being now controlled by Oracle. So Grok gives me pros, and it says significantly reduces national security risk by eliminating potential Chinese government access to user data. Absolutely. Keeps data storage and algorithm operations fully within the U.S. under American company oversight. Absolutely. Prevents a full TikTok ban. Preserving the platform for 170 million users, which, Jack, a lot of people make a living on that platform. They do. So I think that's a good thing.
Stupidest things. My God.
Hey,
man.
Listen, if they can make a living on it, God bless them, and a couple other things. Now, Jack, here are the cons. Now, I want you to hear these cons, and I want you to tell me what you think of these quote unquote cons. Ready?
I want to hear them. Yep.
Okay. Introduces potential for domestic political bias. Larry Ellison is a known Trump supporter, raising concerns about favoritism toward certain viewpoints. That a pro?
To me,
con?
That's not a con. To the left, that would be a con.
That's not right. I said that's not a con. I said that's a pro. Right?
Yeah. For us, it's a pro, because that when you have someone that leans right, that means free speech for all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So here's the next one. Concentrates enormous power over information flow in the hands of one U.S. corporation, trading foreign influence risks for possible American corporate or political influence. Now, you could look at that either way to say, I'll take it as a pro because at least it's out of the hands of China. I'd rather have an American company, than China controlling it. So that, to me, that's neutral. That's not a
well. What they don't understand is that's for every business, every social media site has a company that controls. I mean, that's what business is. That's capitalism. I mean, so obviously, an American company is going to control. But that's a pro because it isn't China, and an American company is going to control it regardless. I don't get that.
Yeah, and here's another one. Retraining the algorithm from scratch could initially degrade the user experience, less accurate for addictive For You page content volatility. Retraining the algorithm from scratch, Jack, on TikTok is a pro. I don't care about
pro.
It's a pro.
We're on TikTok and we get a lot of views, but it's all leftist comments. It's unbelievable. It's all leftist comments. And some of them are actually pretty funny, though. The way they make fun of us, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I laugh at it. See, that's the difference. That's why that's why, Jack, we're not the same when it comes to us versus the left. We laugh at it. I think it's actually, when somebody gives me a good dig, I'm like, that was pretty good. Good for you.
Some of the shit's pretty damn funny, I must say. Yeah.
I agree.
But I just want to talk and look at some of the comments of the videos. It's all, I said, it's all leftist people, so.
Yeah, you'll laugh. Everybody take a look at it. But yeah, definitely follow us on those platforms. We're just starting out on them, Instagram, TikTok. Give us a follow. It definitely supports the show. We really appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, Jay, I think we have solved all the problems we can for the last few days. I think we solved immigration. We solved, I think we took down the global cabal by calling them out, even though we don't know who they are. I think we solved a lot of problems here. If we were just listened to by the powers that be, maybe that could help. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there. You got anything to say before we go?
No. Listen, the weeks fly, and now we're doing 2 shows a week. And guess what? We'll be back on Monday, and
we will.
Jack, I'm. Here's what I'm going to say. Can we not have a weekend like we had last weekend? Oh my God! Can we not? We're coming into Christmas. It's supposed to quiet down this time of year. What? Yep. Please, everybody, say a prayer. Let's have a nice, quiet weekend and a nice, quiet lead into Christmas and the New Year. How's that?
That's wonderful. And that's the crazy thing, though. That's why we started doing 2 shows a week, because there's so much going on that we have to give you guys, the truth, because the media is not going to give you the truth. A lot of these podcasts out here are not going to actually dig into these things and give you the truth. They're just going to, go over what happened. We like to present fact, but also highly probable speculation. I don't present speculation that is just outright bullshit. I present stuff based on facts, based on the facts that we know. I use that to give an educated guess, a hypothesis, something that is educated, but it's not obviously going to be a fact, but it's something to give you food for thought. I'm not telling you to believe it. I'm telling you to train your mind to think critically, look at all the angles. Don't just look here. You got to look here and here also. So I hope that helps. I hope we helped you out tonight, and we're going to be back Monday at 7 o'clock. So for Jay Gatling, I am Jack Danger. Thank you for watching Secret America.
You've been listening to Secret America.